Good morning, everyone. Happy Friday. My name is Vanessa on behalf of Cerenade. Thank you for joining us today. Today, we're doing a webinar on how to customize intake forms step by step. And as a reminder, this is being recorded. You can watch the video later if you subscribe to our YouTube channel. And also, I'm going to be sharing a PowerPoint presentation. If you click on handouts, you can download the file and keep it because it has useful links. All right, well, let's get started. I'm going to share with you what's included for today. All right, so we divided in 5 steps. We are going to show you what's the best practice for you to utilize the technology that we offer. And number one, we want you to plan the content. What is it that you want to create? Sometimes attorneys already have a PDF or a Word document that they email to clients or they print it with questions. But the problem with that is that you guys still have to type the information manually when the client completes that. So it's a double work. And we're going to show you how to create that PDF or Word document into our technology so that you can just send it to them or use the alternate view to capture the data. But anyway, so planning the content means look at what's already in the system. We have questionnaires that are standard that you can use instead of reinventing the wheel. And you can also copy the system intake forms. All right. I also suggest if you have 2 screens like I do, you can have your, intake form in one or maybe the form that you want to base it on. And then on the other monitor, you can have the admin portal for the customizations. So that's also a good thing because you can go back and forth. Step 2, I'm going to show you today how to create custom fields and how you can connect them, or we say map them, to the actual form. And so it's not just asking the question, the client will enter the data. And once you accept the questionnaire, that information will stay in the system, but then it transfers to the forms. And that's the idea. Step 3 is going to be create or copy. Like I said, instead of creating one from scratch, I'm going to show you how to copy an existing system form, and then you can just modify it. You can also include translations. Step 4 will be how to send the form now to the client. You can send it as a passwordless link, meaning they can just click on the link, confirm their identity for security reasons, obviously, and then they can access the questionnaire. Once they send it back to you and you accept it, the data stays in the profile if you have it mapped correctly, right? And also, if you have clients that are not tech savvy and you can't send it electronically, at least you can open the questionnaire that you created using alternate view, or you can even print the same questionnaire, whatever you prefer. And step 5 is going to be once you get the data and it's stored in the profile, you create a case and open the forms, and the data should auto-populate. Again, I put should because if you have it mapped, then it's going to work fine. At the end of this PowerPoint, I actually put the links in order just so that you can click on them. Um, Basically, it's the same link over here, but just so that you can have it available, you can click on the link and it's going to take you to a video later today. So with that being said, I'm going to switch my screen and let's get started. Please let me know if you have any questions at any point. Today, we're not going to cover, as usual, the basic steps because this is not a basic training, but know that we do have a basic training for new users scheduled for this month. Okay, so the first step, plan the content. What is it that I want to do? If I already have a questionnaire in place, I can mimic that questionnaire and again, look at what's already in the system. What I mean by what's in the system, we have questionnaires that you can use, that you can copy. So let's take a look. And remember, you have to have access to the administrative portal. So if you click on settings and you don't see administrative tools, that means that you don't have access. I also recommend to right click and open in a new tab. Even if you just have one screen or one monitor, you can go back and forth. All right, so this is the administrative portal, and we're gonna click on custom form templates. All right, so I am planning my content and I want to see what's already in the system. So click on intake forms and then system intake form. The difference between these two is that you can customize your own or you can copy the ones that we already have by default. So these standard questionnaires that we had in the past are now called intake system intake forms. What I mean, we have questionnaires that will cover generic information such as biographic info or general information, history. You can use these questionnaires for pretty much all of the matters, right? History of address or relatives. And the good thing is that if you want to use any of these questionnaires, you can just click on select, copy, and you can use what's already here. That way you don't have to create anything. If you want to ask these questions, you can just use them. For example, if I'm using this asylum questionnaire and I want to add to it or remove questions, I can do that. Number one, I'll change the name of the questionnaire. So maybe I can call it full asylum questionnaire, right? And I can ask additional questions to this. Let me just change this questionnaire, full asylum questionnaire. If you notice on the left, we have questions that you can use. For example, I want to ask, what is your name? What is your address? Please upload your passport, etc. So you can ask any of these questions, and some of these we already have in the system, like repeated sections. For example, besides what's already here for the asylum specifically, and any other question that I want to add, if I click on repeated sections, I can add all of these. So technically, if you think about it, the previous addresses questionnaire or marriage history questionnaire, all of those are already here. So all I need to do is just click and add them. I'm just going to add all of these. And we also have the section for adding children information or any other member, any affiliations or arrest history. And we have under templates if I need to ask them for their father or mother's information. Now, speaking of this, you can hide some of these fields. If you don't need the client's father's entire profile, you can just uncheck these boxes and ask exactly what you want. So maybe I just care for the gender, first, last name, and birth, city, state, and country, and that's it. I'll just click add and then do the same thing for the mother. See, I don't need all of it. I just need the basic information. So let's just keep it as that. Birth date, city, state, and country, and add. That's it. Now, if you look at these numbers right here, that's how the order of the question of course is going to be. See, this is the preview. Well, let's reorganize them. Let me move my mouse. I'm going to scroll all the way up over here. All right, so question number 20, I'm going to move it to number 1, and I'm going to type my question. It's going to be, what is your full name? Here, it's asking if I want to add the middle initial or first and last name only. And for example, for number 2, I want to ask, what is your US resident address? Because it's US, I don't need the country, and I'd like to ask for the state and zip code. Then once I have the question the way I want it, I click done. Oops, you know what? I need to change this to number 2. Click done. So now those questions move all the way up. Number 1 and number 2. Let me scroll down. Here, I'm going to ask question number 3, which was a document upload. And I can ask, please upload your passport. I mean, you can be specific with, we just need PDF or like um, you can have more than one document upload if you want to be super specific with a checklist, whatever you want, you can, and that's the beauty of it. You can make the questionnaire the way you prefer. So all you need to do is just change the number here, click save or done, and then that question is going to move all the way up. So here's a please upload your passport, other names you have ever used, etc. Now, if you have a logo, you can click on options, add logo, and it's gonna be personalized with your logo here. If you haven't uploaded your logo yet, go to, let me quickly show you. In the administrator portal, in order for you to upload your logo, you can click on Tools, Application Settings, all the way at the bottom. And on the right-hand side, click on Branding. And this is where you can upload your file. Make sure it's 300 by 70 pixels and GIF format only. All right, so that's what the branding is. And you can also number your questions if you want. So technically this is kind of confusing because this one has already numbers, so you can remove that if you don't want to have two numbers. Now, let me go back here and preview. All right, so now my questions have numbers, I have my logo, and I'm gonna close. See how everything's looking? You can always modify the header, the instructions. If you notice on the left, there's like 6 dots. You can click and drag and drop. So that's how you can also fix this if you want to move this and drop it, whatever you prefer. Okay, you can also click here to change the description. Maybe I can put it center, or maybe my instructions will be a larger header. Like I said, this is the reason why you want to customize it. Now, there are questions that you probably want to include that are not here, and we call them custom fields. And just to give you an idea, I'm going to switch really quick to a client's profile. Just bear with me. I am now in the caseworker portal. I'm in the client profile, and these are the standard fields, the typical ones, right? So if you want to create additional fields so that you can enter data, we call those custom fields. For example, I want to ask, what is your full name in native alphabet? So that when the client responds to that question in my questionnaire and I accept it, the data will stay here, but then when I open the DS160 or the DS260, this information will also auto-populate. So I'm going to show you how to get that done. You can also use the system to ask additional questions that are not necessarily immigration related. Are you a new client? How did you hear about us? So you can ask questions like this. Oh, I heard about the law firm or the organization through Facebook or referral, Instagram. So you can also use the system as a CRM, especially if you have custom reports, and you can gather that information for marketing purposes. Okay. Any type of case, not just family-based, employment-based case, if you want to ask additional questions for like H-1Bs, employment in general, you can, again, create as many custom fields as you want. And once you have the custom field created, I'm going to show you right now how to do that. You can also include that in your questionnaire. But I think I'm getting ahead of myself. Let me see. Step 1, plan the content. So we talked about um, copying the form so that you don't have to start from zero, right? And you can also compare the actual form. So if I go to a case and I say, okay, well, let me look at the asylum, or let's use any of these forms here. I'm going to look at the I-130, for example. All right, so if I open the form and I see, well, yes, we have alien info, social, first and last name, all of those questions are already in the system if you guys send the general information for individual client, other names they have ever used, right? So it's only questions that are probably not in the system that you may want to ask, such as like a supplemental questionnaire. But to be honest with you, all of these are already in the questionnaires that we offer, like I-94 information, all of these biographic information, the race, ethnicity, color of eyes, everything. But anyway, so it's good to have one tab open, look at the forms and see, okay, well, I need to create, for example, question 10, has anyone else ever filed a petition for the beneficiary? I can ask those questions and keep the information, and then also, of course, transfer it to the actual form. To give you an idea, I'm going to open the DS160 because I have already mapped that one, so you guys can see what I'm talking about. Remember, I created a custom field, which is what is your full name in native alphabet. I'm going to include that question in the questionnaire so you guys can see. And when I open the form, because that custom field has been mapped to the form, then as long as I have data here, it transfers. Let me populate with Valeria's information because that's a profile that I'm showing right now. And that's exactly why it looks kind of purplish, because it's been customized. But see how the data populated from here to here. So let's work on that so you guys can do the same thing for any type of question. Number one, I'm back in the admin, by the way. I am back in the administrator portal. We're creating the questionnaire. This is just an example. And on the left, like I said, you can create any type of question. Let me answer. Are there any existing Inte forms already mapped to complete U visa forms? No, that's the reason why you are using what's already in the system as a system intake form. And you can either create your intake form for supplemental questions, or you can customize it to have everything in once, like I did with this one. So instead of just using the one in the system with background questions for asylum, what I'm doing is I'm creating a full questionnaire with all the information that I need, their previous addresses or marriage history. So that's exactly what you can do for any type of process, not just the U visa. All right, so I was going to show you here an example of a custom field. So for example, what if I want to ask, is this the first time you contact us? Maybe you want to have a questionnaire prior to the consultation, right? With these type of questions, like how do you prefer to be contacted, or who referred you? If this is the first time that you contact us, my question would be a follow-up. How did you hear about us? And also, if they say, no, this is not the first time that I contact you, well, what is your file number, or what is your case number? If they already have a file number. And so again, those are the questions that you can add. See, you can add text, list, multiple choice, single choice, etc. Now, let me see. Yeah, if you want to compare which questionnaires we already have, you can click on Create Questionnaire, and you can click on Print and or Preview. And by the way, you can customize them by different processes. So if you put naturalization and then you want to link the related questionnaires, again, you can use the ones that we already have, or you can create your own questionnaires where you can have everything in one single document. Like I said, you can add descriptions, you can add your logo, you can number the questions, and I'll show you right now also how to add translations so that you can either print these documents or you can send them to the client in Spanish by default or any other language. Oh, you're welcome. um, all right, so step number 2, how to create these custom fields and how to map them to the forms. Let's go back to the admin. I want to stop really quick because I want to give you a disclaimer. This is number 1, being recorded. We have a technical support team available for you. So please, please, please take advantage of that. You can watch the video later. You can practice with the custom intake form, but don't be afraid of doing it. And if you have questions, just reach out. We're more than happy to assist you. So just send us a message with any questions as you're doing it, because it's definitely not the same as me showing you now than you doing it. Okay? And remember, please subscribe to the YouTube channel so you can watch this video when it's ready. I say this because sometimes people want to do it at the same time as I'm doing it, and they get frustrated because I'm probably going too fast, but I can't wait for you to do it at this point. We do offer private training sessions if you're if you're interested in having like a one-on-one session. All right, so step number 2, how do I create a custom field? I'm going to click here, client custom fields, and not case, because you cannot link a case custom field to a questionnaire. So make sure that you create them under client custom fields. All right, so click on add client custom field. Select the type of client. It could be both. And The name of the field cannot be, well, this is more technical, so you cannot add spaces, but you can do underscores, such as last underscore arrival underscore date. But the title can be free. When did you last arrive, I don't know, in the US? So my question would be that, and my type of field would be definitely a date. Now, this is something that I learned myself. I assumed that the alien number or social security number was a numeric value. Technically, it's text, because if you look at the profile and you type here letters, like a, this is, see, or like the alien number, I can have like this. So that's the reason why this is text, not numeric. Um, and you can keep that in mind when you create your custom field. What type of data am I asking? Well, in this case, it's a date, so it's pretty straightforward. And then you just click save. When you create your custom fields like these ones, you can also, and I highly recommend you do, you can you can group them into categories. For example, my category will be the permanent resident card information, and I can group questions or custom fields underneath that category. And then you can group categories into different views. For example, immigration only, or family law, or marketing information. Again, you can have different fields within different categories and views. Okay, alrighty. So once you do that, it actually looks more like this. If you go to custom fields, you're gonna have, these are the categories, these are the actual custom fields, and these are the views. So I can switch to a different view, especially if you use eImmigration for non-immigration cases. So it's definitely worth having different views to separate them. Okay, or you can just select view all. I like this box because I can hide any empty field, and it's only the questions that have been responded. So that's also a good feature. All right, so now that we have custom fields, how do we connect those to the forms? If you click on File, Form, Custom Data Population. Oh, I see your question and I will respond to it. I did ask our developers for that. Okay, so how do I link my custom field to the actual form? And by the way, if you notice, here's where you can see the version of the form, because if there's a new version, you have to remap them. We sent a request to our developers so that hopefully they can add the form version or the edition. All right, so yeah, the edition date. All right, so let's say that I want to customize a DS-160. I'll just click on Add Form, search for the form, and then you're gonna select and add. I already have it here, so let me open it. It's gonna open the form as is, and you're gonna click on the field that you want to customize. I have already done the what's your full name in native alphabet, so let me customize another one. In the meantime, please let me know if you have questions. I'm going to respond to them when we have a Q&A. Trying to find the, oh, here we go. I knew it was like before 10. Social media. Well, this question says, what is a social media provider platform? And we have these options that you can also create, and of course the identifier. So I can create a custom field for the social media, and I can map it to the actual form. If you notice here, it says case or client, select client, because that's where you're supposed to create the custom field, and then select the type of field, social media. And what region, so technically would be the alien, and then just click OK. When you link or map a custom field like this, it's going to connect, or it's going to change the color. That's how you know it's being connected. And then there's no save button, just close the form. And that's it. Which means that now, if I enter information here, in the social media or like the what is your full name in native alphabet, it will create, it will transfer to the DS-160. I think I have the social media here. All right, so let's go back to the questionnaire. If I wanted to ask that question here, I mean, let's just pretend this is the DS-160, not the asylum. Here's where you can add a text for the social media. What is your username or login, like information about Twitter, like Instagram, what have you. And then you can have either a short text or a text area, which is a larger area. Okay, you can have drop down menus for the different options, etc. So once you create the question, just like I did with what is your full name in native alphabet. In fact, let me add it here. It's going to be a text question. I'm going to put a number 5. What is your full name in native alphabet? And then I'll just add a text area, click save. Okay, so step number, I think we're already in step number 3. Yes. So step number 3, how do we map or connect the questions to the system? All right, so step number here, right here, is mapping. I'm asking, is this the first time that you contact us? That was a custom field. So you have to click on client custom fields and then find it. This is why I recommend that you keep it as simple as, you know, just underscore, like you can identify the custom fields instead of using codes. And that's actually a good point, because we have, if you go into the admin, we already have system. Give me one second. It's right here. All right. If you go to custom fields, we have system custom fields that you can look at, and we have the different categories for the different forms. So if I want to look at the ones for N400, this is the custom field, the type of custom field, the name, and then what question it belongs to. So that's more advanced, but I wanted you to know where to find that information. Okay. So let's go back. My next question is, how did you hear about us? Well, I created one for referral or like leads or prospective leads or source. And if they have been here before, I want to ask for their file number or case number. By the way, you can also make these questions required or mandatory if you click on this box. Here's the next question that I showed, the custom field. What is your full name in native alphabet? Again, I just have to click on custom field and select the question. What is your full name in native alphabet? Next, what is your full name? That's a question that we already have in the system, which is under general info, and all you need to do is click, and that's it. You do it one time only. Now, the reason why is because we need to know what exactly you're looking for. For example, what is your US resident address? I picked address for one of the fields or questions. The system has either mailing address, US, abroad address, or like which address. So I'm going to select US residence and map it. The street, the unit type, the unit, city, state, and zip code. And that's it. I don't have to redo this again. And it looks like I'm done because the other ones have been mapped already. I don't have to redo the whole thing. If there's something that you don't need, that you want to remove, you can customize it too. Okay. And lastly, translations. If you notice, you can enable translations so that you can include these available languages. I'm just going to pick a few. Let's say Spanish, Korean, and Chinese. I don't know. So if you click to review, you can see the translation. And then at the end, you just click submit, meaning you approve the translation, because you can always make modifications. Again, all of the questions have been translated, and if there's something that you want to modify, you can change that. And then click submit. Once you're done, you're going to click Save. You can also add instructions here. Save and close, or if you need to continue editing, you can save and continue. Before I move on to step 4 and 5, which is I'm going to show you how to send it to the client and how to use the alternate view. Right now, just to quickly recap, and before I take some of these questions, I'm going to show you the PowerPoint. So we talked about planning the content and look at the questionnaires that we already have in the system so that you can use those or copy any system intake forms so you don't have to start from zero. Also, we talked about creating custom fields and how to connect them to forms, how to create the questionnaire and map that so that it stores the information correctly into the system. And also I talked about including translations. So before I move on to step 4 and 5, I want to know if you guys have any questions. So question 1 says, when choosing the type of questions like list, yes or no, and creating a corresponding client custom field, which options do you use? Boolean versus drop-down list. I asked this question myself because it is true, like how do you know? So let me share with you what I learned. Give me one moment. All right, so this is the explanation. There are two sets of options for custom fields and for intake form questions. For custom fields, Boolean, the little Boolean is the little square that you click on the region. When mapping one custom field to a single checkbox. Okay, so if you have a single checkbox on the form and that's your custom field, then choose Boolean, such as like what race out of many options, which is not used very often. But the drop-down list is when you provide a list and you can only choose one, like the yes and no, or the list of countries or colors or what have you. And well, the other ones are self-explanatory. The intake form questions, the single choice, and let me share my screen with you so I can explain what I'm talking about and show you. What I'm talking about are these custom field options here. Okay, so the Boolean versus drop-down list, that was a question. And then the Boolean is for the one custom field, so a single checkbox. And then the drop-down list is if you have different options that you can choose from, like a list of countries or, right? Now the intake form, when you're creating the intake form, over here, this is a question that was asked when creating what options should I pick? If you notice when you select the question, in this case, like multiple choice or single choice, we have, that's if you want to create a custom field and then you just come up with your own options, such as the one I did with, how did you hear about us? So I can have them choose from a multiple choice or a single choice. There's also a list, and instead of creating a different list, you have countries, genders, relationships, and departments if you have different departments in your organization. All right, so I hope that helps. But yeah, the yes and no or yes and no and a, I also learned that instead of doing a single choice or multiple choice, you can also create a text custom field. Multiple choice, of course, is when you can select more than one. If going with custom fields, each choice of a multiple choice can be mapped to a Boolean custom field. Probably use a lot less than above. Okay, so also, I mean, like I said, when you create your questionnaire and you have questions, maybe it's not mapping or you cannot find it, you can contact us so that we can probably connect to your screen and see what's going on. All right, let me see if there are other questions that I think I probably missed. Could you show us how to map the date that you just created in a cut? Yes, of course. So let's say I create a text and then select date. And my question was, when did you last arrive in the US? So when you go to mapping, then click on client custom field and then search for the arrival date. That's it. So your custom field has to be text, but you select, see, I chose text, and then I change from short text to date. It could be a phone number, email, height. You could also do the single choice list, like I said, and or multiple choice, yes or no. That's why, I mean, you can use whatever works for you. Okay, thank you for the questions. I'm gonna continue so we can have enough time. I always feel like I don't have enough time to show you everything I want to present. All right, and so step 4, how to send the questionnaire that we created. Let's move on to the caseworker portal. I'm gonna close all these. All right, so how do I access that questionnaire that I just created? Well, if I click on create questionnaire and I choose print and view, I can find it here, which was the full asylum questionnaire. So I can click and open. Here are the languages that I picked. Let's say I want it in Spanish, and I can print it. That's if you still want to provide them with the paper and then they'll bring it back, right? If they're not tech savvy, that's understandable. And if they bring the paper back and you have to now type the information, my suggestion is that you use the alternate view, okay? Because when you have the alternate view, let's say that we have Joaquin, I always use the same last name. I think I need more options. Here, alternate view, I'll find within the alternate view the template that I need to complete, which was the full asylum questionnaire. So it's basically the same look and feel, and I can type the answers. Is this the first time? Like, yes. How did you hear about us? I'll just say Twitter or like social media or internet, and then of course enter the information. I'm not gonna enter everything. I just want to show you what happens when you type through the alternate view and you click save. I'm gonna close this and notice that the information is now listed here. So I have under what is your full name and native alphabet, it populated. It also populated the address information right here. Let me know if you have any questions about the alternate view. Alternate view, in my opinion, is a great tool if you have the client in front of you and you have the consultation, or even before the consultation, you want to ask these questions. The data stays, I don't have to retype it. And if I have to type information, I can just save and it will stay. And then, of course, once you have it in the system, then it transfers to the forms. Instead of sending a Word document, it's better to use the alternate view because then the information will stay in the database. And again, it will transfer to the forms. Now, what happens if I want Joaquin to complete this questionnaire himself? Well, if you have text message included in your package and you want to send a questionnaire via a text message, make sure that you have the client's cell phone. You know what? Let me just add this because I don't want to get banned by YouTube when we upload this video. I'm going to, oh, and the email address. In order for me to send a questionnaire to the client or prospect, I can click on create questionnaire and I have to create an account. So I'm going to say send it to Joaquin and I'm going to create an account. Now, if you send the questionnaire via passwordless link, you don't need to necessarily send the credentials, username and password. But it's good to have that available just in case the client wants to log in into the client portal. So I'm going to use this username and I'm going to create a simple password for the client. All right, so if I need to send an email to the client with the username and password, you can send a default message or you can also change this template. I highly recommend that you guys take advantage of the letter templates. It's a lot easier for me to select a different message. It auto-populates with the tags, and I can just provide the username and password. Do not change this bracket. For security reasons, it doesn't show up there. I'm going to email the credentials just in case. And like I said, if you want the client to access the client portal, you click here. If you want a client to simply click on a link, such as, you can provide the link via text message, you can provide the link via email, or also you can copy and paste it into WhatsApp. So if you need to send a questionnaire, you can select the process, assuming that I have already linked the asylum questionnaire. If not, you can click no process, which gives you all questionnaires. But ideally, again, if you choose the process, it's easier for you to select the questionnaires that are associated to that process. And here's the one that we just created, which was the full asylum questionnaire. You can create a full, let's say, initial questionnaire or pre-consultation, or even after you complete the case, like a survey type of thing. Like, will you refer someone to us? Like, would you recommend someone to? So you can also do that. If you want to preview the questionnaire, you can click on the pencil to look at the questionnaire. Make sure that this is the one you want to send, and then click save. Now, if I want Joaquin to confirm his identity or verify it, I can send this message in Spanish as well by default. And this is what I was saying. You can send the link via text message, via email, or you can copy the link to the clipboard. If you send it via email, make sure that you copy this link and you replace it with this one, because I don't want him to access the client portal. I just want him to get the email and click on this link. And this is a passwordless link. Now, if you send it via text message, if you want to modify this, for example, please complete your questionnaire. As long as you don't exceed 160 characters. And you can hide your name and just keep it as, the law firm name. And then just send a text message. Well, I'm going to, let me see, send it. I think I have already sent that one. So I'm going to send one more, which is, let's say, the relatives questionnaire, just as a test. So what I'm going to do now is show you what happens when your clients log in here. Oh, sorry. Okay, let's log in as the client and access the client portal, the inbox. All right, so here's a questionnaire they're going to open. By the way, they can see the data that you have already captured. They don't have to start from zero. Okay, so if they notice something is wrong or something's missing, they can just type it. For example, let's say that we forgot to type the city and the state and the zip code. They can also upload files from here, other names they have ever used. Let's call it Jack in the Box. It's Friday, please bear with me. And I'm just going to answer a couple of these questions. Let's keep going. Previous information, previous addresses. Remember, this is the same questionnaire that we just created. See how fast it was for us to just create one questionnaire that has employment history. It has all the education history. I'll just use this information. Abroad trips. By the way, we have a new feature for e-filing. Well, you have to have e-filing, but it connects to the CBP website where you can import that information in the I-94 as well. Here's the children information. Let me just select the daughter as a test, maybe the date of birth. I'm not going to continue with everything, but I just wanted you to see how easy it is. And your clients can also translate the questions if they need to. And when they're done, they click submit. When the client submits a questionnaire back to you, you get an email from us, and then you just have to log in as a caseworker uh, to access your inbox right here. Questionnaires and forms on the top right. So here's a questionnaire I'm going to open. What I like about the technology that we offer you is that we highlight the fields that have been customized or modified. So if I change something, I can click on if the client, sorry, changed something and I click on the field, it tells me what was the original value. I don't think I modify, I just added new information. I'm going to accept because I want you to see how the data transfers, but just so you know, you can also send it back to the client. If you realize, hey, you forgot all of these questions, please continue working on the questionnaire. You can send it back. Or for now, I will accept because I want you to see how the data populated. So we have, I think I added history of education, right? Here's the UCLA. And also the members, I added the daughter. So if at this point I needed the daughter's information, I can click on her name and complete her own set of questionnaires, if applicable, usually for the petitioner beneficiary. Um, but yeah, all the data, like the background questions that I added are here. Okay. Let me know if you have any questions on how to send or how to receive a questionnaire, how to use the alternate view, anything. Because at this point, I want to show you how the data transfers to the forms. So if we create a questionnaire for Joaquin and we say, okay, this is the asylum process for our office in California. All of these, by the way, you can customize them. All of the drop-down menus. My information as the attorney will transfer to the forms. Here's where I select the role. Maybe the derivative is right here. I've got the forms ready. I don't know what this one's here, but create. Okay, so remember, I can click on the name of the client. It's going to open an account so I can see his data. At the same time, I have the forms. So I'm going to open the 589 and look at the fields. Everything that we captured is here. Um, if your name is Joaquin, I apologize. I didn't mean to offend you, but this is just a joke. Joaquin en la caja, that's what my mom says. Let's transfer. Well, I really don't have mailing address, but I'm going to show you a trick. Let me pause really quick because I want to show you something. If you go to the contact profile and click on addresses, since we already have the US resident address, I'm going to click here where it says copy from US residence. If it's the same address, I don't have to retype it. I'm going to save the changes. And it's the same thing for his daughter. If Ana Maria's information is the same, I can go to the daughter's profile, click on her addresses, and then just copy from the father's profile. And I don't have to retype it. Same thing. Click here where it says copy from US resident address and then save. Because I just did this change on his profile, well, I just go back to the form and refresh. How do you refresh the data? You click on select party, you click on replace, and click on his name because that's the section that I'm working on, his information. So that's it. That way I don't have to retype the address for the mailing addresses right here. You do the same thing for any time that you see something missing. Like I realize that I don't have his alien number. I know the temptation will be, let me just type it, but it's not efficient. And then just switch, go to the corresponding file, sorry, no file, field, and then let's type it. Save it and come back and refresh. So the way you refresh is by clicking on the select party and then replace alien, click on his name. Instead of typing the same information over and over again, I'll just have to do it one time only. Let me know if you guys have any questions about this. Now, remember that we created the social media and the, what is your full name and native alphabet, or so those are the custom fields. Make sure that you have that information and the actual custom field like this one in order for this to transfer. Is this the first time that you're here? See, now it says yes, or it was like the internet option. I think if I go to the custom fields, I'll see it right here. What's going on? Here, source of prospect. How did you hear about us? Internet. So again, you can use this information to create a report. How many clients do we get because of a referral or um, they look up online? I know it's probably a lot to digest if it is the first time that you see this, but trust me, it's a lot more work when you send them a Word document via email and you have to retype and retype and retype the same information. So you might as well just create a questionnaire that gathers all that data and then auto-populates all of the forms, not just one. Okay, I put the links right here so you can click and learn how to upload your logo or how to use the alternate view, etc. I would like to show you some of the questions that you guys sent, but before I go there, these are some of the features that we have that you're probably not aware of. So one of them, just so you know, we have new forms available for e-filing, and we have a feature for importing from the CBP website. So I put the link right here. If you're interested, please know that you must be subscribed to e-filing module. You can contact our sales team for more information about the current plan or subscription that you have. What happens when I have questions? Because you will have questions. That's normal. Please call us Monday through Friday, 8 to 5 Pacific Standard Time, except on holidays. You can email us 24/7. That's our email address. Or you can also click on your home screen where it says technical support. You may also send your feedback to developers. And we have the user's guide with videos and step-by-step instructions. We do these trainings for free every week on Friday at 10 a.m. Pacific Standard Time. We also have a podcast and we have a Facebook forum page. I suggest that you click to subscribe or join. And please do me a favor, go to YouTube, search for Cerenade Academy, and subscribe to the channel. So see, these are the questions that you guys sent prior. How do I put a question in a custom questionnaire for someone's social media accounts? Require information on the DS-160. We have informed our dev team that this feedback, so they can possibly include the social media questions inside the profile and as well as the questionnaires included, the system ones. But for now, you may create custom fields and questions that link to, to those fields and map them to the forms, which is what we did today. If I mapped, if I have mapped a form and there's a new version, do I lose the mappings? Yes, you need to remap to the new version of the form. Can we translate questionnaires to other languages? Yes. Most of the system intake forms do include a translation, but you can also add translations to your custom intake forms. Are you able to pull information from one custom form to populate many different forms? We have several stock questionnaires that cover all sections of a client profile. Like I said, general info, biographic, history, all of those. So yes, they are included. And once those questionnaires are filled out, they generate a client profile, which then transfers to all forms on a client's case. You can click here for more information on how to send these questionnaires, and also click here to learn more about how to build your own custom intake forms. These are the these are the upcoming trainings for the month of March. I suggest that you click to register because there's a limit. And please connect with us. We want to hear from you. Make sure that you join the podcast and other social media outlets. And thank you so much for your time. I'm going to stick around if you have any specific questions. But before you go, I do want to ask a couple. Are you a new user or are you an existing user that you wanted to learn more? Please click to vote. If you are a new user, we have a basic training for new users coming soon. You can always contact us if you're interested in a private session as well. All right, next question. See, I knew it. The majority of you are new, so this is probably way too advanced and fast. So please do us a favor and contact us if you need a private session, or you can watch the videos that we already have in the system. I want to know if your questions were addressed during the webinar. If you still have questions, I can stick around, or maybe you have more like technical support related issues that you can contact our staff so they can connect to your screen and see what's going on. Okay. All right. Well, thank you for voting. And one more question before you guys disconnect. Would you recommend your colleagues? If you know someone who's still typing data on the USCIS website, please do them a favor and also yourself, because if you refer someone, you can get a $50 gift card or $50 credit to your next invoice. And they can also save money on the installation, the one-time setup fee. We can waive it for them. So it's a win-win. If you want more information, you can contact us for the referral program and we can send you the link and just complete the form with their information. And thank you so much. Let me see. Okay, well, I think that's it on my end. Again, if you have to disconnect, thank you again for your time. Have a great weekend. If you have questions, please let me know. You can message me before you go. Thank you, everyone. I see someone raising a hand. I can't unmute you, but you can message me. Let's see. I'll wait for you to message me. I think we received a new question, so give me 1 second. I'm not sure if you saw this. When I sent several questionnaires to, oh, I didn't see it. Thank you for resending it. When I sent several questionnaires to clients, use, yeah, this is where you can message me. I'll wait for you to type your question. So in the meantime, I'm going to read this one. When I send several questionnaires to clients using the passwordless link, is there a way to make sure that certain questionnaires pop up first? Oh, that's a great question. Example, if I send general information and arrest record questions, how can I make sure that the general questionnaire is seen by the client before the arrest? You know what? That's a great question. I'm not sure, and I'll get back to you because um, when you select all of them, even if you notice when you customize them via, like, for example, the admin, and you select by process here, they're not by alphabetical order or like, so I'll talk to the developers to see how to ensure that the first one that they complete is this one. And I agree with you 100%. That is the first questionnaire that I will send to my clients or prospects. Once you get the general basic info, then you can send the rest. Yeah, I got your question. It says, when I am filling out the applications, is there a way to skip pages to go directly to a page? Yes. Let me show you how to do that. So let's open this one. On the top, I think this is what you're referring to. So on the top of your form, if you click on the white rectangle, I guess, type the number of the page and hit enter. It will take you to the right page without having to do this one by one. I think that's what you meant. But let me know if I didn't answer your question. I have tried that and it has not let me, but I will try again. Oh, yeah, it should let you. If you click, just type the number hit enter, and it will take you to that page. But yeah, please go ahead and try. And if you have any technical difficulties, you can contact us. Thank you. I love being able to create customized questionnaires. It is an amazing feature. Oh my God, you made my day. Thank you so much. I'll make sure I pass that feedback to our team. They'll be very happy to hear that. Have a great weekend. And also, for those that are still here, take advantage of that technology that you guys can use it for other areas of law, not just immigration, like I said, for growing your practice, asking questions to provide a better service. I think that that is great. Knowing exactly what they need before the consultation, etc. Thank you. I have another question regarding family members. How can I put members of family like children without having them linked as members? No, you can't. The reason why you have to link them as members is because the system has to pull the data from a profile. It's the way I see it is like a container. You have to have a profile so that we know who's related to, for example, if I have a contact for the daughter, I can see the relationship here. And if the form says children information, just based on the relationship, the system knows how to auto populate their data. Now, you don't have to necessarily enter every single thing for the daughter because she's not a client. Only the basic information will be sufficient. And then when she becomes a client or you need her own data, such as her employment history or education history or what have you, then you can create a questionnaire for her. But that's the reason why you have to link them as members. Now, if the reason why you don't want to do it because you want to look at only clients when you search for a report, I recommend that you don't designate a number here. You can probably leave it as NA or, um, and when you run a report, you can see or you can search for only contacts that have a client number. That's what I would do if I want to sort or filter the ones that are not. Or you can also put them under archived. I know the status shows prospect active, or maybe if you want to archive the members, whatever works for you. You're welcome. Thank you for your understanding. The question is if there's any update on when the new questions on the general info page pronouns will be mapped. No, it hasn't been finalized, but I know that the development team is aware, and I just don't have an ETA for you. You can also send your message here where it says feedback or technical support, just so that they know. And the more people requesting it, obviously, the faster and sooner they can implement it. And it's not just the pronouns, but also like the income, right? Household size. These are new. Now, since I'm here, let me quickly explain to those that are new. You can hide those fields if you want to. So if you go to the administrator portal, you can click on application settings and you can scroll down and look for this button, general info layout. So these questions you can hide if you don't want to ask or see them, you can hide them. But the question was how to map these to like the pronouns, how to map them to the system or the forms because we don't have a custom field technically created. But thank you for the question. I'll remind them. Oh, yeah. I'm glad. Yeah, there, you know what? It's amazing how much they add and like they keep enhancing the system. When you guys have questions, just send us a message like, is this doable? Can we do this or not? Like, because most likely it's already enabled, but I mean, it's already created, but you don't have it enabled. Okay. So just check with them here, send a message, and we'll respond to you. All right. Well, thank you, everyone. Have a great weekend, and thank you for your time. Bye bye.